Welcome to practice. Today, you'll need a blanket, and chairs are always handy if you're a little bit wobbly when we do our standing and balance postures. And we're going to begin laying down with the blanket under the thighs. So I've got it folded so it's quite as wide as the mat, like a rolled up towel, that sort of shape, or a little bolster. And it's going to go underneath the thighs. And legs in Baddha Konasana. If you find starting your practice that this is quite a big stretch for the hips or the groins, you can make little extra bits of padding with that blanket right underneath the thigh bone. And normally that will support enough to take away that feeling of, ooh, very intense stretch. So that we can begin the practice with focus on the whole body, the effect of this being in this shape on the whole body. And taking your arms overhead and palms facing up towards the ceiling. Finding the shape of the breath. Letting the body sink a little more heavily into the support. Giving in to the shape of the pose a little more. Good, and then gently bringing in your arms and your legs. Slide that blanket out. We're going to take the feet out as wide as the mat and gently swaying the legs from side to side. They may or may not reach the floor. Just take the movement that feels nourishing for you in this moment of your practice. Noticing where the hips might enjoy this movement and where it might feel like they're a little tight. Good. And then back to center. Bring the left knee into the chest and hold your foot, or hold as close to your foot as you can. So maybe your leggings, ankle, calf. Good. And just swaying your lower body a little bit from side to side. The leg can sway across the hip joint. Good. And then we're going to roll the lower body all the way to the right side and left shoulder blade down onto the floor. Start to straighten that left leg and feeling the strong sensation of stretching there. Having the intention to not be pushy, but rather curious about movement. or resistance. Doing each breath. Beautiful. And then come back to center. Good. And then take your right leg into the chest and holding your foot or as close as you can. So could be holding the thigh or the shin. And just swinging a little bit the leg from side to side. Taking the leg across the, the front of the body, front line of the body, so that the hip joint is mobilizing. Good. And then letting both legs, the whole lower body roll to the left side, and the right shoulder blade is on the floor, looking over the right. Good. And then exploring the feeling of straightening that right leg. Ooh. Just noticing where the body resists, where it feels good to move into the stretch, where you need to have compassion and be a good listener. Beautiful. And then coming back to center. Hugging both knees and rocking from side to side. Good. And we're going to roll up to sitting. So you can roll over to your right to come up, or cross your feet at your ankles and roll up. And feet out in front. Hold on to the front of your knees and lean back. Huh? John's just going to work. Bye, honey. And we're going to balance. The feet are off the floor. Finding the balance feeling of the front core of the body supporting the spine. Good. And then just swaying a little bit from side to side. So you're transferring weight from one sit bone to the other, or back of the pelvis to the other. Nice. Come back to center and try making circles with your knees. Your feet stay off the floor. Ooh. We try to really keep that feeling of the front and back core of the body stabilized. And then the other direction with the knees. And nice and awkward. Beautiful. And then back to center. Just take a simple seated position. However that works for your legs. So that your spine is lifting. You can always sit up onto your blanket if that feels better. All right. And we're going to take a circle with the top of the head in the air above. And we're just keeping the spine and the neck in one curved line. So we're taking the whole spine around the base of the sit bone. And then the other. Nice work. Okay, now choosing either legs in Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out wide, or take a kneeling position. Don't hurt your knees. So if you're kneeling and it hurts, you could try making your blanket thick and putting that between your feet under your sit bone. Otherwise, sit with your feet out in front in the Baddha Konasana position. And we're going to take the hands behind the hips and lifting the breastbone and embedding the bones of the spine forward and looking. And if you have extra movement in the kneeling position, you're going to take the hand back a little bit further. You could even reach your elbows to the floor if you've got that kind of movement. If you're in the Baddha Konasana position with your feet in front, you're going to move forward instead. You're going to feel that stretch for the thigh. Good, so one or the other. Good, so kneeling people might be lying onto their elbows, but we're still embedding the bones of the spine. Beautiful. And then we're going to try and come up nice and evenly and into an all fours position. Stretch your fingers out wide. Press the fingerprint. Good. And spinal waving. This subtle movement to find your suppleness. You need to bend your elbows a little bit to give yourself room to move your spine. And we're trying to wave every bone, every joint. And the other direction. Without force. There's one bone following the other. Each joint mobilizing. Notice if any part of your back feels a little stuck. Beautiful. And then we're going to take forward Virasana and find the breath. Feel the breath into each of those joints of the spine. And particularly to any places in the spine that do feel a little stuck. Finding suppleness through the flow of breath. Take your right hand now and reach to the outside of your left knee. And we're going to turn our upper body to the left. Good. And reach your your left hand, the one that's out in front, over to the right of the mat. We want to get a nice big turn for the ribs and finding that deep and satisfying breath. And then both arms out in front. And left hand over to the right leg. Good. And turning your torso. And your right hand is going to wiggle across to the left side of the mat. So turning the ribs. Right ribs are lifting. Left ribs moving across to the right. Finding each breath. Good. And then back to center. Both arms stretching out in front. Coming up now into downward facing dog pose. So stretch the fingers wide, press the fingerprint. Keep soft legs for the beginning of this posture. And we're going to sway the hips a little bit from side to side. But keep moving the hips back so the head can just hang down. And you start to feel that movement between the ribs, between the shoulder blades and the ribs. Finding the flow of your breath. Good. And then centering your body and pressing the heels and lifting the kneecaps and the sit bones. And give your head a little shake, a little nod and shake. Relaxing your neck. We're going to bring the shoulders forward. So we're in shoulders over the wrists and drop your knees almost to the floor. Feel the front core of the body lifting and supporting. Good. And then back into your downward facing dog pose where you press your heels down and you let your neck relax. Good. And then again, knees come almost to the floor. Look up and embed the bones of the spine forward. Beautiful. Try to keep pressing your fingerprint. Heels to the floor. Great. And then resting into child's pose. Feeling the flow of breath. Nice work. All right, working on our foot flexibility. Hands near the knee and tuck your toes under. And you're working on lifting the knees as high as you can. So some people can go all the way into a squat position and press the heels down. But then bringing the knees back. So where you might be working is just lifting the knees up and down off the floor, but maybe you've got that movement to roll back into the squat. So forward and back, forward and back. Feeling what that means for your feet. And then we're going to stand up from there, press into the heels. Beautiful. And come to the front of your mat. Taking mountain pose, Tadasana. Feeling the flow of your breath. I'm going to take the arms up and hold onto your left wrist and gently stretch the left side of your body. So we're going to lean over to the right side. I'll turn around so you can see better. Leaning over to the right side. And feeling that stretch in the left side of the body. Good. And then we'll come back up to center. Take hold of the right wrist. Leaning over to the left side and really drawing space between the bones of the right rib cage. Nice. And coming up to center, back into Tadasana. Mountain pose. I'm going to take the arms up, look up. Keep the bones of the spine embedded forward, forward bend. And hold on to your leg rather than going all the way to the floor. Look forward and really pressing the spine forward. So if you felt behind you, the muscle either side of your spine, it's the muscle you're feeling, not the bones poking up. Embedding the bones forward. Beautiful. Let's try and straighten one leg and then the other. So alternate that stretch and breathe deeply. Notice the effect of stretching, and especially such a big, long muscle chain.
And then try both. And as you try to stretch both legs, notice if there's that tendency for the bones of the spine to want to poke up. To keep embedding them forward. Beautiful. Breathing deeply. And then bend the knees and inhale and rolling up and up. And then Tadasana, mountain pose. Standing on 2 feet. And your feet are hip width and parallel. The legs are parallel. The knees look forward. Good. Inhale, arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana again. Bones of the spine embedded forward. Good. Maybe you can go a little deeper this time and try to straighten your legs without the bones of the spine poking up. Okay, we're going to sit the bottom back now. So the knees are going to bend and you sit your sit bones towards the floor behind you. This is for Utkatasana, powerful pose. So we want to really support the the back core of the body with the front and the side. Good, so really draw in the tummy, the pelvic floor. And then we're going to take the arms by the ears. So you try to make a nice straight line through the torso, the armpits, the arms. And then we're going to try and keep the knees bent, but lift the torso a little so that it's more perpendicular to the floor. It won't be all the way perpendicular. Breathing deeply. And then pressing into your feet powerfully and lifting up, looking up. And then Tadasana, mountain pose. Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing arms, looking up. And then Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Straightening through the back of the legs, lifting the knees. Utkatasana, powerful pose. Bend the knees, draw the sit bones towards the floor behind. Really engage the core of the body, front core lifting, internal support from the pelvic floor, and bring the arms by the ears. Keep the legs as deeply bent as you can, but lift the torso now to look forward. Beautiful, press into your feet, lifting up, Urdhva Hastasana, Tadasana. Bring the hands in front of the heart now. Press them and draw the shoulder blades down. Bring the hips back into that Utkatasana position. So we drop the sit bones behind. Powerful legs here. Powerful core of the body. And we're going to transfer the weight just into the left foot so that you're very light on the skin, the tips of the right toes onto the floor. The weight truly in the left leg. Breathing deeply. Good. Place the right foot thoroughly back down. Let's lift up, arms up, look up, and Tadasana. Hands to the heart, press them, shoulder blades down, bones of the spine forward, bending the knees, sitting the sit bones back, lifting thoroughly the pelvic floor, feeling the core support, the whole core of the body gathering to center. Good. Take the weight into the right leg and lift up onto the skin of the left tiptoe so you could lift that foot off the floor. Beautiful. Place that foot back down. Lifting up, straightening your legs, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Ooh, and Tadasana. Nice. Bring your hands in front of your heart. We're going to step whichever foot you can see your device with. I'm stepping my left foot back for Trikonasana. So it's a big step, feet about as wide apart as your leg is long. And we'll turn the hips towards the long edge of the mat. Bring the arms out from the shoulders. We're going to go backwards first. So left hand is going to go down onto the left leg. So your right foot is parallel to the edges of your mat. Your left toes are turned in towards center. And we're leaning back to the left, opening the right ribs and looking up. Beautiful. Now we want to keep the right ribs really spacious, and we're going to reach the right ribs out and over the right leg now. Right hand down onto your leg and left arm straight up. You might feel yourself leaning a little bit towards the floor. You want to try and roll the left hip back, the left rib, opening the heart towards the ceiling. Finding your Trikonasana stretch. Draw the shoulder blades back and breathing. Beautiful. We're going to lift up, so powerful core and leg. Beautiful awareness of balance. Bring the hands in front of your heart and step forward. When you step forward, see if you can balance on your right foot. Bring your left foot in front. Whoa! Lots of wobbling. Bring your left foot in front and just take a moment to be balanced on your right foot. And have the intention to find the floor first, lightly with the skin of the foot, and then taking the weight. Hands at the heart, bones of the spine, pressing forward, shoulder blades down. We're going to take a really big step back for Trikonasana with the right foot, or the other one that you didn't do the first time round, the second side. Get your words right, Donna. Right toes towards center, and your left foot parallel to the edges of the mat. Take your arms out from your shoulders. Okay, we're going to lean backwards first. So I've got my left foot as my front foot, so I'm leaning back to the right leg. And we're trying to open the ribs of the front foot. Lengthening. Breathing. Nice. Take your arms from the shoulders now and reach the other way. So my left foot's out in front, so I'm reaching to the left foot with my left hand. Put your hand on your leg where it lands. Right arm straight up. Good. Notice the tendency of the torso to lean forward. We want to roll the right hip back, the right rib, shining the heart upward, finding your balance. Your core feeling stable, and then reaching yourself into pose. Beautiful, stable, core, leg, lifting. Bring your hands in front of your heart. And we're going to step forward and try to balance on the left foot. Bring the right foot in front.
flows. Taking a moment to be balanced on the left leg. You always keep your tiptoes on the floor. And then finding where you want to place your foot, hip width parallel with the skin of the right foot before you actually transfer your weight. Tadasana. Nice work. Urdhva-hastasana. Uttanasana. Oh, big step back with the left foot and bend the right knee. Bring the hands to the floor. Good. Try to embed the bones of the spine forward. And we're stretching through the back leg, so we're in a really long lunge here. Beautiful. We're going to step forward, lift up and balance on the right foot. Let's do one smooth movement. Press the hands in front of the heart. Shoulder blades down, bones of the spine pressing forward. And find where you're going to place your foot, hip width parallel with the skin of the foot first. So don't just fall back into position. Nice work. Urdhva-hastasana. Uttanasana. Stepping the right foot back for a really long lunge where we bend the front knee. Really try to straighten through the back leg. Press the back heel back. Dropping the hips closer to the floor, lifting the breastbone, embedding the bones of the spine forward. Beautiful. Stepping forward and lifting up and balancing on the left foot. Trying to do all of that in one movement. As beautifully wobbly as that movement might be. Hands in front of the heart, bones of the spine forward. Good. Before you place your foot, have the intention to find the floor with the skin of the foot and then transferring your weight. Nicely done. We're going to hold a forward bend. Arms up, Urdhva-hastasana, Uttanasana. Find a place to rest your hands, so it's not necessarily the floor, it might be on your leg, where you really feel like you've got the bones of the spine embedding forward. And breathing deeply. Look for the stretch in your legs. That feels good. And finding the flow of your breath. Good. Now, I'm going to sit down from here. I'm going to try and not use my hands. But you might need to use your hands to help you get on the floor. And if you're trying to not use your hands, you're also trying to not fall onto the floor. So give yourself a moment to really get your heels on the floor. Sitting in a comfortable leg position. I've got cross legs, but that might not work for your knee. So legs can be out in front, straight, semi-straight. All right, we're going to just sway side to side. And I'm letting the spine flow rather than be in a straight line like we did at the beginning of the practice. Okay, now I could lead this movement with any part of the spine or the side body, but I'm thinking of the ribs, the lower rib, that wider part of your rib cage. Imagine the left ribs are leading to the left, and then the right ribs are leading to the right, and the spine follows. And what we find is a flow, but also those places where the body feels like it sticks a little bit, just catches. I'm going to just find the breath, tuning into the flow of the breath. and allowing the body's movement to mirror that flow. Noticing the difference between the ego trying to describe the movement and the breath describing the movement. And then back to chest center. And take your legs out straight and as wide apart as your knees will go. Good. Hands behind the hips, embedding the bones of the spine forward. And we're going to try and make that breath-led spinal wave, but in the forward and back plane. And they don't have to be particularly big movements, just whatever works. And some people have more forward movement here, so you can make a bigger movement. If you have a smaller range of movement there, feel the subtlety and the effective subtlety of that movement. And again, let your breath guide the feeling of flow. And then the other direction. Oh, what? I'm on the back of my heels with the toes pointing up. It might feel a little more doable for you to point your toes away. Beautiful. And then release. I'm going to lay down. Hugging your knees into your chest and rocking a little bit from side to side. Okay, we're going to take the left leg into the chest again, like we did at the beginning of the practice. Hold on to your foot or as close to your foot as you can. The right foot be all the way off the floor. Good, and we're just going to rock a little bit and particularly swing the left leg across your body, out to the left, really mobilizing that left hip. Okay, now we're going to take both the legs to the floor or in that direction on the right side. Take your left shoulder blade back to the floor and look over your left shoulder blade. So your right leg's just resting on the floor now. Good. You've got a hold of your left leg and then see if you can straighten that. And let that movement simply follow the breath. Beautiful. And then coming back to the center, both feet off the floor. Hug particularly your right leg into your chest and take that, or take hold of your foot if you can, or wherever you can reach, maybe it's your knee. And we're trying to mobilize the right hip joint, getting the leg to swing across the front of the body side to side and massaging the hip. And then we're going to let the whole lower body go left. Good. And your left leg can be resting on the floor. Your right shoulder blade onto the floor, turning to look over you. And then see what it feels like to straighten the right leg. But just letting that movement be as natural as the flow of your breath. Not trying to force anything with instruction or mind. Good. Feeling really engaged in the core of the body, lifting back up. Knees out wide as they'll go towards your shoulders. So the belly is forward. Feeling the flow of breath. Holding your knees, you can coax them a little closer to the shoulders. Feeling the support of the spine. Beautiful. If you had time to lay your legs out for your own Shavasana, that would be nice. Otherwise, if you need to finish your practice, as I do, then putting your feet on the floor and rolling to the right side. When you feel ready, come up and have a seat. Hands in front of your heart. From my heart to yours. Take the feeling of the practice. Namaste.